So hi people, here's a question for you, right? Are Sky Fraud committing fraud? Now, I'm not making an accusation here. I'm simply laying out the facts and letting you decide for yourselves. Okay? So 6 months have passed. 6 months, mind. Right? So decide for yourself what you think. Is this Sky Fraud committing the fraud? Or is it just extremely poor practice? Either way, it's extremely poor practice, isn't it? Committing fraud from a fraud department, if that is the case, of course, or simply laying it out so that when there is a fraud, there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. It has to go ahead, because that's what's happened here. So why is that? Why does a fraud department not contact the person trying to contact them in relation to the fraud? They have already locked the account. They don't take steps to try and prevent the fraud from happening or from continuing. And they refuse to answer any questions. Their own Sky department cannot contact them. So let me go through the bullet points of this, right? I think it was June, July, I can't quite remember. It's about 6 months now, yeah? I get contacted the day before from someone claiming to be from Sky Fraud. Calls himself Bruce. He's a foreign national, based on his accent. He hasn't got a UK accent. And obviously working in the UK. Now they say that there's been an activity on your account. I said, really? I said, you've ordered some phones. I said, no. 2 iPhones apparently they were. I checked on my account. I could see the phones had been ordered, so it's not me. The address was to someone in London, and they were claiming that they tried to contact me because somebody had tried to change the address for delivery. I thought, okay, sounds kosher enough. And they were giving me emails and a barcode to send it back, make sure I take picture of the parcel and so forth. So, okay. Chatted with the guy, and he said the phones will arrive tomorrow. You can refuse them, but then it'll go through the process of going, it'll take a long time to sort out, or you can just take them and send them back. We'll send you an email with a barcode to send back via track delivery. Fine. So the phones arrive, and I can check a barcode, So I see it's in Birmingham. So on the box it says, if it's not one of these 2 postcodes, don't return it. So, okay, let me contact Sky. So I ring the number on the box. They don't know anything about this. I said, well, it's not the postcode on the box. I said, this postcode that I've got here is in Birmingham. I said, do you have a warehouse in Birmingham? Because this is Sky Fraud telling me to send it here. Or somebody claiming to be Sky Fraud. And they say they can't access the account because it's with the fraud department. So what do you assume from that? So I thought, I'm not happy with this. So all over the weekend, including Friday, more than one call, I tried to contact people to say, like, I want to speak to the fraud department, right? You cannot get in touch with the fraud department in relation to fraud. And their own team cannot get in touch with the Sky Fraud department in relation to fraud, an active fraud now. And I say to myself, that's not right. No fraud department isn't contactable. And I'm told that by the Sky team that they simply tell them that they can't contact them because they don't know what they're doing and they could mess things up. I'm thinking, that's not kosher. All right. So, because nobody can contact them from within Sky, and they're telling the Sky team they don't know what they're doing, you're not allowed to speak to us, basically. And you can't give numbers out to customers to speak to us either. That's very unusual for a fraud department. So let's look at the process. I get contacted the day before. Somebody named themselves as Bruce, claiming to be from Sky Fraud. 2 phones arrive the next day, not ordered by myself. I've got emails with barcodes from Sky, seemingly from Sky, to return the phones. They've got the order number, all this sort of nonsense on it. Barcode checked and postcode not matching the postcode advised on the box. I contact Sky on number on the box. They can't answer a single question properly. The account is locked, so they must be aware because they've locked the account. The Sky team cannot look at the account because the Sky fraud team have locked it. Right? I'm thinking, okay, they must be aware of it. They must be looking after it. They must, it's probably them then. Right? But I still inquire because I'm not happy with the situation. Sky team are unable to access account to check. As with fraud department, they are not allowed to get involved, I am advised. Sky team unable to access Sky for themselves or to give me a means to contact. When will they get back to me, I say? They don't know and can't speak to them, and they can't access my account. Duh. Right? So I contact them every day over the weekend, including Friday. Same story. Asked if they had a warehouse in Birmingham, unable to say. Right? So I thought, okay. They have a lot of warehouses, I'm told. Is the number a Sky number? The number I'm being contacted on. Right? And they think so, but they're not really sure. Right? So these are the advisors in Sky that you're told to ring, mind, right? So Sky fraud unable to be contacted, number to be given, can't give guidance. Number to ring given, that I ring on, can't give any guidance. I sent the phones on Monday after numerous failed weekend contacts from Friday onwards. Evidence was obtained. I took pictures. I even took a small video of it being posted. Right. So after I posted it, I thought, hang on a minute, I should have checked that address on Google Maps. So I did. Right, I checked the address on Google Maps. It's some kind of residential estate, some rundown buildings as well. And I, oh, right, okay, that's not right. No warehouses, nothing. And I spoke rather than to these idiots on the line given for advice, who can't advise you of anything, and they can't speak. They can't access the account, and they can't speak to the fraud. So why give that number out then? Why give a number that nobody can speak to if the Sky fraud department are dealing with it? And then why can't I speak to the fraud department in relation to what to do? Because I could have then, if I'd spoken to them, I could have said, okay, why don't you contact the police at this address? I'll post it. It's next day delivery. You could catch them. That's what I could have said. You could have caught the fraudsters because you could involve the police in Birmingham. It could be posted, or I could post then, right, an empty box, right, if they wanted me to send the phone to someone else. Right? But what actually happened, right? The guy rang me up, this so-called Bruce rang me up after they'd received them, apparently. Oh, we've received your package, Mr. Penny. That's fine, great. But it's empty. I said, oh, that's fucking obvious, isn't it, Empty. I said, look at the postage receipt. It says 1 kilogram. How can you tell me it's empty? Right, it was 0.99 kilograms or something. Right? 2 phones were in there, I can show you. And they said, well, we can show you in the video. I said, no, because it's you committing the fraud, isn't it? I said, if you are Sky fraud, then it's the Sky fraud department committing the fraud. Because all you've done is opened the package before videoing yourself opening the package. You've taken the phones out, so that it looks like it's empty. I don't even use iPhones. I use Androids. I don't like iPhones, right? I'm used to the Android system. I don't buy iPhones unless it's for somebody else, right? But and that's my daughter who breaks them all the time. So, but no, I haven't ordered these. They've been posted back up to Birmingham, right? And this guy's claiming the box was empty. Now, why they bring back that, I don't know, is maybe to prevent me taking it further. I don't know. Or they just want to shut me down. And if this is Sky fraud, that's maybe what they want to do, right? So, but listen to the follow-on, right? So It was post this that I contacted the I think it was post this. No, it was yeah. When I spoke to the guy again in the bereavement place, I think it was. I was sort of relaying all this sort of stuff, and the bereavement team left a message on the back end. So it's the only way they can speak. They leave a message on the system, and then they pick it up, right? A week later, I phoned him up a couple of weeks later, and he's checked it, and he said, "Oh, that's unusual." He said they haven't picked it up. It's after about a week, it's got deleted. I said, "Well, is that normal?" He said, "No, that's not normal." I said, "Okay, so what happens there then?" So he left another message. That message wasn't picked up and deleted as well. Right? So in 6 months, and I've said this, when are they going to contact me? I have not been contacted by mail or by Sky Fraud Department, by telephone. Nothing at all. They've got my details. The other thing is, I asked the bank, because I rang up the bank to cancel any direct debits. And I said, "Oh, you haven't got a direct debit with Sky, Mr. Penny." I said, "What?" I said, "So, I've had one. Where is it?" "Oh, it's been deleted, Mr. Penny." Who deleted it? Because it's not me. So they went away and they checked. "Oh, Sky deleted it." Really? I thought, oh, maybe they've done that to, prevent any action in relation to the phones. I thought, okay. Well, when I spoke to Sky, on the system is that I've deleted it. So I've got the bank telling me Sky have deleted it, and Sky have documented that I deleted the direct debit. That was not the case. So I got the bank telling me it's Sky. I've actually rung up to make sure there is no direct debit and to cancel it. And I was actually ringing up about the phone one, because I'm thinking it's a different thing to Sky, and I thought maybe I need to delete that if it's there, so they don't take money out of my account. But they actually deleted normal Sky direct debit, from my telly. I thought, well, why would they do that? And then why would they actually say it's me that's done it when the bank are telling me it's them, right? So in 6 months, I have been unable to get in touch with Sky Fraud. They have not contacted me despite numerous attempts to contact them. No result with Action Fraud. I was advised by the debt collectors to contact Action Fraud, get a crime reference number, report it. I did all that. You get a little email back saying blah blah blah, thank you, this is your crime reference number. I am still getting letters for bills, which is about £70 a month or something. I don't know how much it is now. The debt collectors was about 140 odd quid. When I explained the situation, they said, "What do you want me to do?" I said, "Well, do what you like." I said, "I'm not paying a bloody penny for phones that were, got fraudulently, and I can't even speak to the fraud department to sort it out. If they had spoken to me, you might even have caught the people, but no. Even the Sky team can't get in touch with them. So what does that tell you, right? So the result of this, right? The entire result of this is I now have a default. Debt collectors dropped the case. I still get letters for the bill. I've stopped, made sure that I don't recreate the direct debit, because they'll start taking the phones off me and the money, and I pay manually. It took me a while to find someone who could tell me who to pay to manually. Now, the bereavement guy did tell me, actually. And when you speak to them about, sort of the charges for late payment or sort of thing, because of the situation, they're pretty good. They refund them. So all well and good on the Sky team side, but the Sky team are blocked from actually talking to the fraud department. Fraud department are somewhere in the ether. don't seem to exist. They have not contacted me within the 6 months time span in relation to this issue. And I have a default on the credit record I checked, yeah? I had a reasonably good record. Now I checked what my loan ability is. I had one loan, 48.99% actually. I put 50% APR, but it's pretty much damn it, isn't it? If wanting a loan now, right? And that's on my credit record, right? So, bit of an issue there, right? So I'll ask you people, are Sky Fraud committing fraud? I'm not making that accusation. It's not an accusation. I'm just saying, I'm asking a question. Given these facts, given that you have an active fraud in action, you contact the Sky team on the number given, and you are not allowed to speak to the Sky Fraud Department in relation to the fraud. They failed to contact you in a 6 months time span, yeah, despite numerous attempts to contact, despite the team leaving messages on at least 2 occasions, maybe more, to ask them to look at this issue. Yeah? They are left. They are not actioned on by the so-called fraud department, who simply tell everyone, you can't talk to us because you don't know what you're doing. Well, I think I know what the fraud department are doing. Right? Right? And they're locking everyone out, aren't they? For what reason? I don't know. I mean, you decide for yourselves. But all I have is numerous attempts to contact Sky Fraud, hitting a brick wall, no contact from Sky Fraud other than the person telling me they're from Sky Fraud. Yeah? The account was locked on the very day I rang up when the phones came, which was the next day. I was advised to accept them and then return them via the label. I contacted Sky. Sky Fraud had locked the account. So they had actioned the lock on the account. So must have been aware of something. They have failed to do anything about it. They have not spoken to me. And then it's just kind of drifted off into the ether. And I've been left with a default of my credit record and an ability to get good credit. Right? Now, question of this video is, are Sky Fraud committing fraud? Decide for yourselves from the facts that I've just presented to you. I don't know. I'm not going to make that decision. I'm not going to make that accusation, but it's a question, isn't it? You know, it's a question. God forbid, that I should actually say Sky Fraud are actually committing fraud. God forbid. But alas, these are the facts. These are undisputable facts. So what is happening? What is going on with the Sky Fraud Department that you can't contact them with an active fraud? That they don't contact you after being notified about an active fraud, despite numerous contacts and despite various messages being left by their own team on the system? Why are the people on the number on the box unable to tell me anything? Based on the fact, probably, that Sky Fraud have locked the account. So, why haven't they contacted me? Yeah, they got my number. Yeah, they got my email. Nothing. And I'm left with a bad credit record, a default on this phone bill. It's still on my Sky app, which I'm not paying because I didn't order them. Sky don't have a means of reporting possible fraud, because the Sky Fraud locked the account and refused to talk to you about it. So to me, there's something amiss with that. Something totally amiss with that process. You tell me, is Sky Fraud committing fraud? Who are the fraudsters here? I don't know. It's definitely not me. Right? And, what's going on? Why is nobody, despite the report to action fraud, given these facts, but they've done nothing about it? Why aren't the police doing anything about it? Well, perhaps they are. Perhaps they're doing a long-term investigation. I don't know. But, they haven't advised me. All I've got is an email saying, thank you for the information. What can you say? I think I might pass this on to GP News or something. I don't know. I'll send them the link to this video and they can make of it what they will. So I'm not going to make the accusation. I'm just laid out the facts and asking you people, what do you think? What do you think is the case here? Because I don't know. I'm just a lay person. Okay. My background is diverse, but I'm simply asking people here, well, given those facts, what do you think is happening? Are Sky fraud committing the fraud? Who knows? It's not an accusation by myself. I'm just saying there are things that point towards that. Sky, there's nobody specific in Sky. You can't speak to the Sky fraud department, so I can't ask them, why have you done this? Because you literally cannot speak to them. Like going up Sky and they can't put you through to the fraud department or ask them to call you back because the messages are ignored. Yeah, they have a system there to put it on the back system, but they just drop out of existence. And then people are left, like myself, with, I say people, but I'm left with a bad credit record for defaulting on the account. Nothing is paid. Nothing is going to be paid. So am I going to be left with that, or should it be taken off? No, it should be taken off. Because it's nothing to do with me. And I know that fraud teams do not do that to people who have actively complained about fraud or are victims of fraud. I'm not just a victim of a fraud. Yeah, I'm a victim of malpractice by an organization such as Sky. I'm not saying that malpractice is fraud by the fraud team, but it's certainly malpractice by Sky to allow that to happen. Yeah. And something needs to be done. So I'm going to make this public. Yeah. And see what people say.